Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. First of all, I don't want to give the wrong impression. The title of the video is How to Repair a Junk Journal. This one doesn't really need repairing per se, but I want to talk to you about some things that change is not the right word. So this gorgeous journal was sent to me by Mary. She made it for me. I love it. It's one of my favorites. And in fact, I carried it out yesterday on a day trip to write in while Jason and I were driving and, just stopped at different places. And I absolutely love this. I want to show you. So here's one of my favorite things. Mary has bound 3 signatures into this journal, and then she tied all the strings together. She's got this beautiful rose bead on the outside, so I don't want to lose any of that. I think that I loosened up some of the pages when I went through and distressed. I did really heavy distressing in here and used a lot of water, which I do sometimes, and the pages, you can see where I had to tape some pages, and that is totally my fault. I got the pages too wet and then worked in them, and the outer pages on this signature tore a little bit. That is not anything to be afraid of, and I want to say right away, I did that. Mary didn't do that. This is a beautifully made journal, and I absolutely love it. But I thought it might help to share how you can, it's like when you have a favorite baby doll and they get hurt and you put a Band-Aid on them. There's some things that I want to add to this, and it is because I love the journal, not because the journal is faulty. And I thought I would share it so that if any of you have journals that you feel like you just have to put on the shelf because, whatever, that journals can keep evolving and changing. The first thing that I've done, and I'll go back and show you, I didn't want to change this, like I've said. I wanted to keep this charm out here and the signatures, the way that they're bound in. I didn't want to cut them out or do anything like that. Let's find the center of the first signature. Hello. There we go. So I took some of my hemp cord and I just put 2 holes in with the awl. There's one here and one here. And of course with a big needle, just as if you were sewing in a signature from the very start. I just put in, a stitch here and went through and came back through here and tied it. And that immediately tightened this signature up. And again, I feel like I loosened these signatures because I put so much water on the pages. And that's fine. Journals are meant to be worked in and loved. And I really distressed these pages, more so than I do, with a lot of pages. I did that last night. I don't think, they're not over distressed because I'm going to add so much to this book before it's over with. But I do want to go ahead and shore up these pages a little bit. So I thought, I'm just going to turn the camera on and maybe talk a little bit while I'm doing this. So here's the center of this one. That one's not as loose as the first one because I really, really have worked in and pulled on that first signature a lot. I'm going to put the awl right here in between these 2 holes that Mary has already made. And I'm going to look at the outside as I punch this through. And you can see where the other one came through. I think I might add something to the outside. You will see. Is to kind of give the fabric a little bit more structure because I do carry this one around. Yesterday when we were out, I put it into a little journal bag that I have. I call it a journal bag because it's just a little fabric bag that I made, and it's got glue and little tiny scissors. It's got some gel pens and washi tape to tape things in. Just things that you might want to have with you, if you were going to be out and want to journal on the road, so to speak. So that goes through really easily. It's always, coming in from the outside that's a little bit more tricky. We're just going to leave that right there. And then I'm going to come back in here and... So Mary, I love this journal. I hope that you know that this is me continuing to work in and on something that I just cherish. So I've put the awl through, and I always try to hold the pages together. Usually I do this in my lap, and it's easier that way for me, but I'm gonna pull the awl back, and I try not to take my eyes off of that hole that I've left there. There you go. It went right through. Most of the times it will go right through. If it doesn't, just keep working with it. And I can say the more you do this, the easier it gets. So I'm gonna pull this. I probably should have cut that string a little longer. I'm gonna pull that as tight as I can and put my finger down and try to hold that while I pull it right up under there. I don't wanna lose any of that, the tightness of the strings. And there, I think I got it. So, you know, you really don't even notice that extra string on the outside. I'm gonna go ahead and do the last one, and then I have a couple more ideas for things I wanna add. So I can continue to, as they say, knock about with Jason and go on our adventures. And I can put this journal in my bag and, you know, have it in my lap when we're out riding. And so let's get right through here. There we go. I should have had some, oh goodness, what a mess I have. Where did the cord go? Hello? I need more coffee. There it is. So that's the end of that. We'll have a longer piece this time. I'm so excited to have my Halloween journal. And the other 4 have sold, and those will be going out tomorrow. Of course, the mail doesn't run today, so that's why they're going tomorrow. And I will have a video showing everything that's in them, just so, you know, we have a record here. And it's always good to have a record of what you're doing. And then, okay, let's get this right here. It's like the perfect spot. And again, I'm going to hold these pages. Try not to take my eye off of that hole that I've created with the awl, and it goes right through. So that was a very easy fix. One of the things Jason and I did yesterday was to visit a place called the Carbonton Dam, C-A-R-B-O-N-T-O-N. And we had read about it online. You know, we love to get out and just, I call it joyriding, or, you know, cruising around. And it was maybe a 40-minute drive. And we had read about it being just sort of creepy and, you know, all these ruins here, a lot of graffiti. They made it sound in this review that we read a lot more. I always put a little bit of glue. I didn't on the last one, I know, but I did on the first one. And that just, I put one little drop, wipe off any excess, but that makes sure that things stay tied. We can go back and do that to the second one. This place was made to sound a lot more like romantic, creepy romantic than it turned out to be. It was actually, I'm back in the first signature. It was actually, it was just more dirty than anything. And we saw a lot of trash. There were things about it that were creepy in a good way and kind of reminiscent of days gone by. But a lot of activity that seemed sort of a little bit, I don't know. I didn't want to hang around there too long. There were people coming in and out, and lots of beer cans. Most of the people were really young, and there was loud music coming from several different cars, and it's really overgrown. It's very weedy. It's not like some of the nature places we've been to. But I'm showing you footage in the background, I guess my B-roll, as you would call it, of what we saw. And I'm glad we went. But as Jason said, we're thankful we don't have to go back there anytime soon. Always good to see what's out there, though, to a degree. And we met some really nice people while we were out. We stopped and ate at this little place right in Pittsburgh. It's called S&T, I think it's S&T Soda Shop or something. You'll see the name. And then next to that was the Woodwright School. And I don't know if any of you remember the Woodwright Shop, the show that used to come on with the builder who showed how to make things. Oh, I can't think of his name. What is his name? I'll put the name in the video. So what am I going to do next? I've been thinking about this quite a bit because I do not want to alter this cover. I love it. But I want to make this a little bit more sturdy because I do, like I said, when we're out, I had this with me yesterday in my lap, and I started thinking it would be nice to have like a structure, you know, and I've been thinking, how can I do that without losing any of this beautiful charm from Mary? So what I'm going to do is create sort of a folder. I'm going to take 2 pieces of file folder about this size. Let me see what I have, just sort of. I need bigger than that. Those are little offshoots or whatever you want to call it, offcuts from other things I've done. And that's not tall enough. But you know, this might be, oh, that might be perfect. Okay, so I need to cut this down a little bit. Let's make some marks. What I want to do is have it come almost to here, but not be larger than, and we're going to put some fabric around it, so we don't want it to be, there we go. So I'm going to cut across here, and then we'll make this one the same size. I'll be right back. I want to show you really quickly what I've done. The 2 pieces of file folder that I cut down, I've just wrapped them in a couple of layers of fabric. I folded it over. I might end up cutting across here so that I get the frayed edge. I think that might look better. But anyway, I'm going to sew all the way around so that I have a sturdy piece to attach to the inside of the front and back covers. I'm sort of stopping at intervals to show you what I've done. You can see my stitching here and here, and we're going to cover that somewhat, although I don't think it takes away from the beautiful journal because it's an overall grungy, very distressed look, which I absolutely love, and I know Mary knows that I love this kind of thing. You know how I feel. I think a journal should be loved and worked in and evolve with the artist. So these file folder pieces that I cut out, I just stitched the fabric onto them, and then I laid the whole journal under the presser foot. Now this, you can see I had to start kind of low on this side because it was laying under the foot like this, and I couldn't pull this, you know, but so far up under the presser foot. And that's okay. It still attached it. It's perfectly fine. One of the things I'm thinking about doing is adding, so this is a beautiful little, like a handkerchief that Mary stained and distressed and put in to the pocket in the front. And I've been thinking, what kind of piece could I add just right on the outside to give the spine more structure and to attach to these things that I've put in. I could even put this in with some slow stitching instead of the sewing machine. Although we could do it with the sewing machine, I would basically just, you know, sew up and down the edges right here. But I'm wondering, you know, I'm just thinking where my stitches might go. The other thing would be to have smaller, I'm not gonna make it this thick, but have smaller pieces, one here and one here, so that this can hang out, you know, in between. And let's pull this out and just look. I want to see if I have anything under the canvas or burlap. I want something a little bit heavy. We don't need much. This is definitely a very unravel-y fabric. But we could use a little glue or just whatever we want to. Ooh, I kind of like that. So let's cut that down. It's hard to cut right at the edge. I should go over to my bookmaking station. That's where I cut and fold paper and fabric. I should go over there and use the fabric cutter, but I'm just gonna be lazy. undo this. Ooh, I like it. Let's cut a little bit more off of the end. Plus, I use my scissors for everything, and I know you shouldn't do that, but it's just what I do. I'm wondering if I had a piece of lace or something. I wonder how it would be to have. That's pretty. These might cut better. Honestly, yep. You see that? These are so dull. Plus, they've got tape on the blades. I need to take them inside and clean them really, really good and sharpen the edges. I need to do that with all of my scissors. So there's that, and let's cut another piece. And oh, I like this. I think it's going to be kind of fun. I can put that there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stitch this to the piece of fabric. All right, we're going to try it. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and see what happens. Okay, there's the first one, and I love it. Mary, I love this journal so much. I feel like it's a combination of your work and my work, and it just makes me so happy every time I see it. You might remember, but this journal smells wonderful. Mary uses vanilla and cinnamon, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but oh my goodness, it is just, it smells so good. So this is my Mary journal. Love it so much. Just gonna tie that before I clip it. And let's see what we got here. Just let that be a little bit long, not too long. So what I did, I didn't just make one continuous stitch because I didn't want to stitch on this. I went on top here and got into the pocket a little bit, but that's okay. We still have a nice pocket here. You know what? I could also clip that one stitch right there and go back. So, you know, we're talking about repairing journals here. I might have to redo some of my own work here. But what you can do is just cut. I should have pulled the pocket back a little bit. I didn't realize I was so close. I don't want to lose that pocket. And this probably kind of shows you what I did as well. Let's just put everything on here. There we go. It's finally loose. So I didn't want to sew through this. There, I have a purpose for this. And yeah, see, I've pulled that loose. So I need to go back in, but I need to hold the pocket back when I stitch this time. So I did one side and then the other. Okay, I avoided the pocket that time. It was a little tricky. I just had to put my hand under there and pull the pocket back while I was sewing. So let's go ahead and put this second little tab into place. And this one, okay, so this one is definitely going to get into the pocket a little bit. And I can't help that. Let's see what it's going to do on this side. Okay, I think I can keep it out of that pocket. Yeah, let's move it up a little bit. And we could just glue it on this side. Actually, I might just glue it there. We could also use a safety pin down in here to hold it into place. So let's go ahead and sew this side. Okay, so let's take a look here. I think I will, let's put some glue under here. Oops, take the lid off, hello. Put some glue right there, and then I'm going to put a safety pin in. Let's get one of our pretty rusty safety pins. Here's a little one. If I could get this one in, it would be perfect. So let's see if I can push it through and then pull the pocket off and turn it up this way. Goes through that side really easy, but it's because I'm having to turn it back the other way. Oh, there we go. I did it. We did it. Yay. All right. So, oh, this feels so good. I love this journal. This feels really good. So let's see what I've done here. Sort of straighten everything out. Maybe I will tie these 2 strings before I clip them. And now we can put pretty beads on here. So what I was thinking, when I open this up, if I can glue this down as well, that fabric in some spots, you know, just to get it. Ooh, that bead is on with a, did I put that on there or did Mary put that on there? I honestly don't remember. That's funny. This will help stiffen this fabric up, and while it might pull away a little bit, I think it's going to help it to stay down and not roll up, you know, so that it kind of becomes a part of that. And part of this, I'm just gluing my own fabric. All of this glue is not going onto the journal cover. Let's go back here to this one and do the same. So like this little row is going right onto the journal cover. I just use tacky glue for everything. I do use fabric glue sometimes, and Jay has sent me some wonderful fabric glue. I think it's Eileen's, or no, Fabri-Tac. Does Eileen's make that? Or Eileen's? Eileen's, I'm not sure how to say that. I guess it's not Eileen. Okay, so we have that. And what we can do, one of the reasons I wanted to make a, you know, a sturdier cover is for when I'm out, we're doing our thing, and it's going to defeat the purpose if this is still, you know, a little bit floppy while I have this other piece in here. So my thought was, well, my thought was not to have this cardboard showing. I got this one. I didn't measure or do anything. Good grief. Here we go. Or do anything like perfectly here. I do want a couple of safety pins, and I am going to put one at this corner. Oh goodness, I do not want to get stuck. I have like horrors of poking this up under my fingernail, or I am careful when I'm using these. Got to be careful. They're so big, and you're sometimes pushing with such force because we're putting it through so many layers. You just got to be really careful and make sure your finger's not under there, especially the rusty ones. This is making me think about the scene in Downton Abbey when Robert's gastric ulcer burst. If anybody saw that, you'll know what I'm thinking about. We're almost to the end. I think my dear Jason, bless him, he has enjoyed it, but not as much as I have, I'm sure. And we have watched Downton Abbey every single night for a good while now. And every night he'll say, do you want to watch your Downton Abbey? And I'll say, aren't you getting tired of it? And he says, no, I like it. But then sometimes he dozes off. We're just going to use this rusty one that was already right here on the front. So what this does, this gives me a hidden pocket. It gives me another layer to clip things to. It shores up the front and back cover a little bit so that when we're out, like yesterday, and I have my journal in my lap, you know, I feel like I've got more of a surface, which I loved it the other way. I've been journaling in this for a while, no complaints. But it just occurred to me yesterday that it might be helpful too to just share a thought process on how you can keep adding to a journal. Like, don't be afraid of a journal. I even, you know, I send all the journals that I make, I send them out with my blessings, so to speak, like, you know, let's turn the little lights on, hoping that they do well and that the recipient enjoys them as much as I enjoyed creating them. But I also know that we're all different and we're so individual. I'm always aware that there may be a part of the journal that someone doesn't like or might want to change. So I thought this video might be helpful. Now, I do have some journaling I'm going to do today, and I will be back soon to share a flip through, maybe of the first signature. And I hope you enjoyed this. I don't think I'm leaving anything out, but I do love the way this leaves Mary's binding threads. I can put beads on these, which I will probably do. And we haven't interfered with any of the pockets. I've got a place for hidden entries. We've got this beautiful fabric we can do something with. And same here at the back. We've got this little pocket and hidden pocket inside. So I like the way it turned out. And I do like these on here. I think they're pretty. I think they add to it. The beautiful, beautiful wall hanging that Mary sent to me. I remember telling you that every pocket was just full of wonderful things. Look at that pretty bag. That's so pretty. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, it would fit right there. Oh, I know where that's going. This is another beautiful little piece that was in the wall hanging that Mary sent. I mean, it is loaded with things. Absolutely, positively gorgeous. Everything, everything. It's just hours and hours and hours and days of work. So I am so grateful. It hangs where I can look at it every single day. People just gasp when they come in here and I show them. I think that's one reason I haven't taken too much of it out. I've looked at it, but it's like such a treasure. I don't want to take anything away from it. But I think what I'm going to do is take this little journal and we will slide this into the little pocket back here, because I know that while Jason and I are out on our adventures, I'm always coming across little notes that are sort of separate from the journaling. And that'll be perfect for that. Like yesterday, the people that we met, you know, they gave us a business card, and we have already connected with them online, and they told us about a really amazing podcast called The Long Dance, I think. Not The Longest Dance, The Long Dance, I think. I will put a link to that. It's really amazing. It is a cold case. It is about a cold case, a crime, a murder in Durham. And it goes all the way back to 1971, I think. But we just got so wrapped up in this podcast. We listened last night for hours. We started on the way home and then kept listening after we got here. So these little pretty things, I want to put these in as well. And I will just go ahead. I'm going to use those in my journaling this week. All right, I am going to wrap it up now because I think Jason and I are going out to a garden center this afternoon. I've got a few things blooming that I planted from seed. I've got to do better in my garden. I've let myself down, but I've been very busy with this, my passion, my work, my job. Thank you all so much for watching. I will be back really soon. Bye for now.